Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 knives to share with you guys and gals today because we're starting a new series on Beez Blades. We're going to start knocking these knives out so you get to see them. Multiple knife videos, baby. And all that's going to start right now. I hope you're having a fantastic day because you're going to like these bad boys. The first one on the queue is oh yeah, it's the Artisan Cutlery Accelerator ATZ. Would you look at it? Just look at it. It's so big. That's what she said. This is a monster, but it is a smooth monster. Is there such thing as a smooth monster? Look at this. It's smooth, but chunky at the same time. Would it be revised chunky? Or no, not revised, refined chunky. This is not a knife for the small of hand or the small of heart. From tip to tip, it's 9.06 inches. Your blade length's 3.9 inches. Cutting length, 3.66 inches. Your handle is 5.1 inches long. Your blade thickness, 145 thousandths of an inch or 3.69 millimeters. Behind the edge is 21 to 22 thousandths of an inch. It weighs in at 6.05 ounces. And check this out, a little bit of texture vision. That's what I'm talking about. And guess what? The micarta, they're catching up. I'm telling you, look at that. We got a little bit of light shag going on. It has very, very nice texture. Beautiful pivot collar. This is an Artisan Cutlery design, and I do like the blade shape. Here's a look at this side. Yeah, look at that. We have a money symbol on the back of this titanium clip. Speaking of money, these right now, you can get 25% off because on the website, they're 10% off. I have a 15% off code that'll be in the comments and in the description of this video. You can stack on top of the already 10%. So you can get 25% off of this beast. There's this version, and then there's also a black PVD coated version with the black micarta, but the action on this is superb. And yes, of course, it is drop shutty. Look how it flows in the hand. And I have extra large hands. I have room all day long. I can choke back to here, still have plenty of room if you have extra large hands. And look at this, you can get all the way up in here to do some heavy slicing. Because we don't have that flipper, you have a nice landing pad right here with plenty of real estate for your hand. So you could really do some slicing. Look how my thumb falls right on that poon. Isn't it nice when your thumb falls on the poon? The blade has very good finish, nice stone wash going on. The jimping up here is pretty good. It's mild, it's not aggressive, it's not super grippy, but I can live with it because of the shape. You have a place right here for your thumb, or if you want to choke up and really get in here to do some slicing like that, it works very well. This has about a 35-40% lockup. The blade is centered, and then check this out back here. It has a brass backspacer. As far as I know, that's brass, and you have a lanyard pin. So all you lanyard lovers, you still get this clean look, but you also have the lanyard. Now, one downside or one little nitpick would be, even though it has a nice titanium clip, the clip is not reversible, so no lefty love on this. I really do like the tallness. The taller you get a grind, even when you have one with a primary bevel up this high, when you have more room to get down to the secondary bevel, it makes it a little slicier. That's why we got the 21, 22 thousandths behind the edge. And then for sharpening, you are set. You are good. Your plunge grind's way up here. So that is the Artisan Cutlery Accelerator ATZ. A quick look next to the QSP Penguin. Everybody should have a penguin, right? Yeah, so this could be your secondary. This could be your primary carry. Other than the things I've already mentioned, I don't really have nitpicks. Left and right, it needs tightened, so there's a little wiggle that way, but up and down, it is absolutely solid. Before we move to the next level, I gave it a quarter turn, and that's all it took. Now it is absolutely rock solid, so it just needed tightened up just a wee bit. Next up in the queue, we have, oh yeah, look at that. Would you look at it? Just look at it. It's the Cjrb RIFF. It is so riffy in all of its riffiness. This one's the green G-Carta. This is the green micarta. You can also get it in black G10, and they have the black PVD or the stonewash. I like when you get options. This is AR RPM 9 steel, just like the last knife you saw. It has ceramic ball bearings. It has a captive pivot. It has a really nice looking pivot collar going on right there. There's a look at this side. AR RPM 9, and then Cjrb. Now this one's just a little smaller than the last beast. It comes in from tip to tip at 8.25 inches. Your blade length's 3.45 inches, just under the 3.5 inch mark. Your sharpen length's 3.62 inches. It's actually longer than it is from the scale to the tip. The blade is 145 thousandths of an inch or 3.68 millimeters thick. And then behind the edge, it's a little beefy. We're up there at 23 thousandths behind the edge. Your weight, 5 ounces. So it's a little, it doesn't feel that heavy to me, but that's what the scale says, and the scale doesn't lie. Now you look at this action. It comes flipping out with authority, and then the close, very nice. It's easy to use, flip open and shut it. I do get a little bit of bounce. I wish, personally, a little nitpick, I wish the spring was a little stronger in here. Here's a look at your detent. When I'm softly pushing on the button, the blade will come open. So I do wish it had a little better of a detent or a stronger spring. But if you give it any amount of force, it will come rolling out. I would not call it snappy. Now, if I use the force of my finger, absolutely. So that is something to be aware of. Now, with this fuller, it is not sharp, but it has plenty of grab. So you have a great reverse flip. Oh, the reverse is so nice. There's a little bit of acoustics. The button works very well. It's tactile. It has a good lockup. You can see it has a nice clean area for the button to fall into. And you get a nice solid click. I like it when it does that. The jimping is not aggressive. It's a little soft. Doesn't really stop my thumb. My thumb slides over it. But for the ergonomics, you know I have a large width hand. So if you have extra large hands, you're still going to be good to go. It is very comfortable. There are no hot spots whatsoever. Here's a look at your pocket clip. You have flat screws that's sitting on top of the micarta, which is very nice. And yeah, check it out. We're reversible. That's what I'm talking about. I love it when you have a reversible blade, but I do like this blade shape. Kind of spear pointy and clip pointy and drop pointy all at the same time. And you're going to be able to use this for everyday tasks. You're going to be able to do push cuts, pull cuts, and this right here, I want to do something serious with. Like if you're doing some heavier stuff, whatever that is, you know, really getting into that bag of Oreos, I think this is going to be a good one for you. It is easy to use. I just get a little bit of that bounce out because I think maybe the spring could be just a tad stronger. But if you know what it does, all you have to do is push the button and it will shut itself. I'm just being aggressive with the shut. If I just push the button, it'll fall down. Let's try it. See, I am getting the bounce out. So that is something to be aware of. There are a couple more things that I noticed about it that if I had the option to change it, I would change. I would call them nitpicks. There is no jimping on the flipper tab. So I like jimping. I would prefer there be jimping up there, and then for your sharpening, the plunge grind ends right at the heel. So there is no, when you sharpen it, you are going to put a smile right there at the base by the heel. And then other things that I just noticed a little bit, when I pull like this, I can feel a little bit of movement. I think some people call that detent lash. It is very minimal, but you know, I try to be pickier and show you guys all the little bitty details that I find. So all in all, it needs a stronger detent. It needs a sharpening choil. I think maybe a little more aggressive on the jimping up here. You know, overall needs some jimping, but if those things are a concern for you, and overall, they are not a deal breaker for me at all. I think it is a fantastic knife. And I have no problem when I have a button lock. Once I know how that button lock acts and how its personality is, it's easy to shut it and not get the bounce out. But you know, when I'm getting over zesty and doing it hard, I do get the bouncy bounce. So that is the Cjrb RIFF. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button because you don't want to miss Beez Blades live at the Hive. All right, every Friday night, 8:15 to 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. You'll miss it if you're not subscribed because you won't get notified. There's a lot of folks that said, I've never even seen you, Beez. And I'm like, I've been doing live streams every Friday for over 2 years. So hit the subscribe button. Just saying. This is the Cjrb cord. Would you look at that? Now we're talking. This is more of the everyday carry size knife for someone that wants a knife with a little bit of beefiness, but not too beefiness. Yeah, I'm liking this bad boy. Here's a little bit of texture vision for you. The micarta is pretty good. It doesn't have a very deep texture. It looks good. It feels really good right now, but this is the kind that after a little while, it will become not slick, but it won't really have a whole lot of texture per se. Now this one, they did put a little bit of a choil on there, so that is an improvement. One thing with this one, it doesn't have any jimping on the flipper tab. I'm not sure why. We should always have flipping on the jipper tab. we need jips. It is a button lock, and you can see that the button is pretty much, I mean, almost flush, almost completely flush, not quite, but almost. And the action on this one is really good. You can get this in 2 different versions and wait until you see the next version I'm going to show you here in just a minute. You can get the gray G10 or the green micarta in this version, and then there's a third. Wait till you see it. If you haven't seen it, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? Here's a look at your thumb studs. The thumb studs are nice and grabby. They work very well. The jimping is slick. My thumb doesn't stop on it, so it's more aesthetic than it is anything else, but they do have a nice finish on it. Left and right, I am getting a little bit of play, and I'm suspecting it's the same as the last one. Probably needs a little quarter turn. Up and down, I'm not getting any play whatsoever. The action is very smooth. The ergos on this one are spot on. I mean, they fit my hand, my large size hand. They fit so well. If you have medium or extra large hands, this is going to fit you regardless. I don't feel any hot spots all along here. And here's a look at your pocket clip. It's sitting on top of the scales, but luckily they gave us some flat screws, so we're good to go. It's not going to be much of a pocket catcher. And major bonus, they gave us a reversible pocket clip and a lanyard hole for all you lanyard lovers. Now this one is my favorite of the bunch, I believe, because this one doesn't do the bounce out. It has just the right amount of right amount of tension in that button, so it falls down and stays shut. A little bit of aggression, kind of pointy. Oh, it's a little bit pointy, but I think that keeps you able to not have a huge thumb stud, but still get a good purchase. You can reverse flick it really easy. It is easy to flick. Now, as far as your detent, if I just push it lightly, it won't snap all the way out. So with button locks, that's always a thing, but just giving it a little bit more pressure with my finger. Now, the flip is very nice. If it had some jimping, it would be even that much better. But it has a great grip, great ergos. I'm glad that we have a reversible clip. We have good steel, AR RPM 9 steel. We have a sharpening choil, and yeah. So are you ready to see the other? Here we go. You ready? Now, this is not what you think it is. By the way, these run around $69. Like I said, there's links in the description. This is not a Gerber. When I saw it, I was like, what? What? So if you've ever owned a Gerber, what? I shouldn't have even said the brand name, but you guys, what does this knife remind you of? Please tell me in the comments. I want to know how many people know what this looks like and reminds them of. You probably have one or had one growing up, but this is the other version of the Cjrb cord. Now this one has some good sound, good acoustics. I like the sounds of it. It's very flicky, and it does stay in pretty well. These both have I don't know if they have a stronger spring or if it's just the way they're made. Now, reverse flick on this one, I got to get my finger in there just a little bit. Now, this one is very comfortable. The edges on the stainless steel handle are all rounded. This one weighs about 4.93 ounces. So this one's a tad heavier than this one. This one's 4.32 ounces. Let me put them down here next to each other so you can get a good look at both versions of the Cjrb cord. I'm telling you what, Artisan and Cjrb have been kicking some serious tail in 2023 with all these new releases, and a lot of folks got in on the Cjrb Pyrite and also the Cjrb Echo. So if you have one of those, these knives that I've shown you today are a little bit thicker, a little bit heftier. So if the knives like the Pyrite or the Echo are just a tad small for you, or you want something to complement them, maybe a larger one, and this would be your secondary carry, then one of these new ones may actually fit the bill. And if you have the Wharncliffe version, I'll put that one up here so you can get a quick looky look at the Wharncliffe. So there's the Wharncliffe next to this one. I mean, that would make a good pair. I think any of these would make a good pair. And also, while we're doing it, I'm going to put the other version of the Cjrb Echo. And I'll have links to all of these knives in the description if you want to go check them out for yourself and get the stats and weights and measurements and all that. So here is the Cjrb cord, the CJR, there's so many brands, the Cjrb cord, and then you have the Cjrb RIFF, and then you have the big old Artisan Cutlery XCELLERATOR, the accelerator beast. Let me know in the comments down below if you have a favorite of any of these or if you have any thoughts or opinions. And if you don't, say hi to everyone. Tell me what you had for breakfast. Tell me what you're doing for the weekend. Just tell me something positive. And I tell you what, YouTube said you should go watch this video, so you probably should go watch that video. And until I see you in the comments or the live streams or the chats, remember, Live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.